This is Father Andrew Smith, fondly known as Father Drew. Today is June the 27th, 2021, and Father Drew will be shortly doing his last Mass at the historic Holy Angels Catholic Church in Chicago, the Bronzeville community of Chicago. And my name is Keith, and I'm just one of the parishioners here. And I just wanted to catch our good pastor and just get some thoughts from him as obviously this historic day is upon us. And I just wanted to have him reflect on his time here at Holy Angels because it's been a great run. Father, just so you know, personally, I've loved what you've done for us. I mean, this is a tough place. I mean, you're in the history of like Father Clements and Father John Calicut, and then you got Father Bob Miller up in there, and of course Father John Atoybe, and some of the people before, as they say in Republican land, the blacks came.
Right.
So I want to ask you just a couple questions, and my first question to you is, what were your first thoughts the first time you gave Mass here at Holy Angels?
It was excitement. It was joy. A little fear. Nervousness. You're coming in a new place with people who've been in the community and the church for so many years, and so I was nervous, but I was excited because I was looking forward to. Because I know Holy Angels is a historic place and standing on shoulders of greatness, like as you mentioned, Father Clemens, and Holy Angels, the people and parishioners themselves, who work to hold the church together. So, I was excited yet nervous, but yeah, it was a good day.
I remember that Mass, and again, it was an exciting time for us because, as you remember, the church was in a lot of change, a lot of turmoil. We've been through some things here, and I just truly remember how much energy you gave, and you've given that same energy to us, each and every Sunday. So I'd like to thank you for that. The next question I have is, and I was going to stop, but we're going pretty good. Is what are some of your fondest memories here at Holy Angels?
Once I got to know the people, I would say just like the events, like the picnics or the outings, being among the people, it's just that bonding aspect. And even like a couple of weeks ago with the Men's Coalition, just be able to bond with people and know the human side and be with people in very difficult times and good times also. I think like I reflect back on the funerals that I've done. It's like, wow, like you knew people at one time, but they're no longer here. So it's like, that kind of gives you a reality check, and it kind of centers you and make you think about the things that are really important in life, about love and compassion and the need for us to respect one another because life is definitely short.
Absolutely, absolutely. What do you think are some of your greatest accomplishments here at the church?
Wow. I really don't know what to say. I don't know how to answer that one, but I can say that I feel like we became a tighter family. I feel like we became more unified and more loving and more dependent upon one another. I think we had a bond, especially before the COVID hit, but that's another thing. But even with the COVID, there was a sense of, even though we weren't meeting, there was still a sense of community. Communicating with people via phone, via the online prayer service, bringing food and things like that. So,
I have to say, just as a member, actually, COVID, as you mentioned, has been a challenge to everybody in the community. Actually, last Sunday was the first time I'd physically been in the church, and since last year or before COVID began. And like you mentioned, it was a challenge to all of us. But I wanted to say that the thought and innovation that your team put together in terms of those calls, in terms of the use of Facebook Live, in terms of just things that we did to stay connected. I want to say how important I know it was for me, and just speaking to other people who couldn't necessarily or weren't necessarily comfortable coming into the building, that you provided that leadership that kept the faith alive, so to speak. So going back to term you would use is build, spread, and grow. I mean, you helped to keep that going in a very challenging time. So I just wanted to thank you for that.
thank you, bro.
Let me just ask you, and of course, whenever you think of accomplishments, you have to think about regret or things that maybe you wish that you could have accomplished. Is there anything that comes to mind, or any things that you wish in your time here that maybe you could have gotten accomplished, or any regret?
Right, definitely that the restoring of the 545, the original school building. that was something when I first got here. I assembled a team of people. We met with the archdiocese, the real estate people, and construction. And then a lot of people kept coming and said, well, good ideas. They wanted to do something with the building, but I never got any support from the archdiocese. None, zero, zilch, nada. And that's my biggest regret. You know, they stood in the way of us accomplishing good things. You know.
So just so people understand, we're talking about the 545 building, which is actually the old school of Holy Angels, right on the corner of Oakwood, and I believe that's Vincent's.
Right.
And that's a building that has a lot of historic significance. Once upon a time, that very building was the largest African American Catholic school in the nation. I believe there were like 1,100 people or so in that building, which is not really that big. So, but again, the fact that it used to, as another person that used to be here used to say, you stayed on the battlefield, and we appreciate that for you. The last question or last thing I just want to ask, and I know you're going to be shortly putting on your vestments and heading over across the way for the last time to get up on that altar, and I'm sure it's a little melancholy and maybe a little sad as well. But without giving away all the juice, what's your final message to us, your parish?
I think it's Jesus' message when he said, I give you a new commandment, love one another as I have loved you. Because the times that we are living in now are very, very dangerous and very interesting times. And if we don't have that love and compassion for one another, we're going to crumble, because especially during times like this, we need each other. So that will be my message, the message of Jesus, the new commandment, love one another.
Well, this is kind of corny, but I'm an Alpha and you're an Omega.
That's right.
And as you know, everything begins and ends with God, the one who is, I am.
Yeah.
And I am not necessarily speaking on the behalf of the church, but I do want to personally thank you for everything you've done for me and my family. You've been an inspiration to me. I mean, you're from the same place that I grew up in. We grew up in the same place. You went to Mount Carmel, I went to Quigley. We're pretty close in age, and everyone knows your story about that you're a former Chicago police officer and all of that. And of course, you're a member of Omega Psi Phi. Throw them up, man, just real quick. There you go. But I just want to say that this journey is not over. We all know that the church is more than a priest. It's more than a building. It's more than bricks. It's more than a name. And even though Holy Angels, the name, is ending this month at the end of the month, and our church will officially become Mother of Africa, the spirit of all of those who've been in that building, will remain. And more importantly, we are a part of one church. We are one part of something much bigger than something here on Oakwood Boulevard. So again, Father Andrew Smith Jr., I would just like to say thank you.
Thank you.
The last thing, this is something that we used to do in church. Another pastor here used to say, look that person in the eye and say, I thank God for you.
Yeah, I thank God for you, brother.
And I thank God for you as well.
Keith. Thank you so much, brother.
Amen, bro.
My man.